Okay, hello there guys. Welcome to another tutorial. And this tutorial I'm gonna show you how you could deploy your website into a Windows server. So basically in this example we need first a website. So this is a new project, this ASP.NET Web Application, and just say OK and you will get this page. Let's assume that the website contains one page only that that is displaying the text uh, test web install. Okay, so we've got this one. I'm gonna save it. Let us make sure that it works. So I'm gonna run here and I'm gonna say OK. Come on. Okay, so it's working. So far so good. Now, in order to create a setup or install this website, there are two methods. The first one is to right click on the project itself here, and you'll see there's an option called publish. The publish option allows you to specify an FTP, okay, or maybe a path on your hard drive, and basically the files will be copied into the server. Okay, usually you use this option whenever you have a hosting service. Okay, so that's as simple as that. We're gonna try the other option, which assumes that you have your server within your organization, you have access to the server, so you will get an install or setup.exe and use that to install your application. Okay, so here I'm gonna right click and select add and select a new project. From the possible project types, select other project types, select setup and deployment, and select setup wizard. You could select web setup, but you will have to set things manually, but here we're gonna choose a setup wizard. Now one of the things is maybe you don't see this option. This is, if you don't see this option, maybe because you are using an Express edition. I don't know about later versions of Visual Studio. Do they provide this as a free option or not? This is a paid version, so maybe because of that I can see the setup option. Don't know about you guys, but anyway, if you don't see that, you can still use the publish option regardless. So after you set this one, let's go here. I'll change this to what? Web setup is the name of the setup project. I'm gonna say OK, press next. It's gonna ask you if it is a Windows application or web server application. So select next. What do you want to store in the setup? In the primary output, which means the compiled website. Okay, I'm gonna say next here. If you have any other files, we don't have any. Click next and click finish. Okay, and you get this one. So now we're gonna build the first one, we're gonna build the second one. Okay, now there's one important thing here. You can see this is the build type, it's a debug. If you are using a test environment, maybe you could use a debug. Okay, the performance won't be that fast, but basically whenever you get an error you will know exactly where the error was triggered and stuff like that. In this case we're going to use a release configuration, and we will build this one, no problem, and we will build the other. Okay, so now everything worked fine. Now we have the setup already. Okay, I could right click here and say open folder on Windows Explorer and go to web setup and go to the release configuration. You'll find two files, setup.exe and webset.msi. Now yeah, so basically this is an installation of the website. Okay, now you take this and go to a Windows server and install it, but you don't install it right away. There are a few things that you need to do on Windows Server. Now I don't have Windows Server installed on my machine. Okay, I'm using my Windows 7 machine as a web server, uh, just for development. If you want to use your machine as a server, I think there should be a licensing for that, because if you read a license agreement, there are things like you can't use your machine you can't use more than n users for your machine, and you can do multiplexing and stuff like that. I think the server will go into that category. Anyway, regardless of that, on Windows Server you will have something called uh, Internet Information Services. On your own machine, if you want to install it on your own machine and test that, go to Control Panel, uh, go to Administrative Tools, and you will find Internet Information Services. If you don't find this option, this means you didn't install Internet Information Services on your machine. So what you have to do in that case, let me show you. You go to Programs and Features, and from that go to Turn Windows Features on and off. Okay, so yeah, and if you wait enough time for this to finish, come on, come on. I'll make this a bit bigger so we could see more. It's taking time. Wait a few seconds, please. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Come on. Yeah. Okay. Finally, it is done. So when you get the list, you might find that the Internet Information Services option is not checked. In that case, you will have to check a few things. Okay, so now I'm displaying these here so that you know what to check. So there's IIS metadata, configuration IIS 6, configuration compatibility, IIS management console, script and tools, etc., etc. And World Wide Web services, you might want to check these as well. Make sure to select .NET extensibility, ASP.NET. If you don't have this installed, you will not be able to install your ASP.NET website, and so on. Okay, so let me just show you the options I choose here. Okay, now I'm sure there's probably some other features that I installed that I don't really need, but anyway, if you want things to work, at least you need to check the things that you have here. Maybe I'll give that for you in a few seconds if you want to pause the video and make sure that you select these. Okay, and there's the rest of the things here. Okay, and so on. And Internet Information Services, hostable web car. Okay, media features. I don't think I need that, but anyway. Yeah. So, and .NET framework, blah blah blah. Okay, of course you need that. Anyway, now that's it. After you do that, your computer will restart, and yeah. So now we finished preparing the we finished installing the IIS. Now after you restart, you will find this Internet Information Services Manager. So we will double click on this. Okay, when you do that, you will see this window. So what do we see? You see the connection between the server, in this case our own server. Okay, this machine is also a server, and you will have the application pools, and you will see the sites. Okay, so this is test site. I'm gonna maybe also remove and say yes. Okay, and yeah, whatever. Anyway, so first let's check what are the application pools. Now, you can think of an application pool like a virtual environment where your website runs in. Okay, it has everything that your website needs. Okay, so we will create an application pool in this case. So of course you could select any of these from here, but what we're going to do, we are going to go here and select add application pool. Wonderful. And now we are going to say test website. Okay, now here this environment, what do you want it to run? Do you want it to run .NET Framework 4.0 or 2.0, or no managed code, which means you will not use the .NET Framework? Okay, so in this case we're going to use the .NET Framework 2. Blah blah blah, and start application pool immediately. I'm going to say OK. Okay, and there you go. So it's here. This is the test website. Now, what you could do here, we will go to, you could double click that, you see the information again if you want to modify it. But if you go to the right, you'll find there's advanced settings. So select that. Now, what do you have here? You have a number of options now. The first one is like enable 32-bit applications. Why do you need that? You need this if you are running or compiling for 64-bit application. If your application is compiled with a 2-bit app. Okay, in this case we're gonna leave it as it is. Okay, you have this is the important thing, because I tried to install a program once and I forgot to set this and it was triggering errors and couldn't figure it out until later on I checked these options. So just in case you would like to check these other things, like for example the number of CPUs and stuff like that, and so on. Okay, but the most important thing is the .NET framework you are using, and if it is 32-bit or 64-bit. Okay, so this is a 64-bit machine, so our application is gonna be a 64-bit. Okay, so we are gonna say okay here. What also do we have? Yeah, I think there are a few other things. Let me see. I'm gone. Sorry, not this one. I think there's a few other things I forgot to set. Right? Da, 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 da. Yeah. Sorry, just. Okay, so you could select a few applications. Here there are no applications in the applications in this application pool. So far, so good. So yeah. So let's go back here. No problem. And now we are going to install our website. So let's go back here again and open folder Explorer and go to web setup. So let's select release configuration and right click here and select what we will select, run as administrator, and select yes. And this wizard starts. Click next. Now it's gonna ask us a few questions like the virtual directory here. In this case we're gonna say it's called webset. Okay, whatever. And application pool, you need to select the correct environment for your application to run. For example, this one here, I am creating this 32-bit, not 64. So if I choose this and try to run the program, it will trigger errors. Anyway, so I select this one, test website, click next, and click next. Wait a few seconds. Okay, and everything seems to be working fine. Okay, so now we are going to refresh. Click here, and you can see the test website. It has one application here now. Nice, right? So let's go here to the sites, open this one, and you can see the website. Okay, you can go over here, go, and select this one, this link. And is it gonna work or fail? Probably fail. Okay, and it failed. Okay, default.spx. Okay, and yeah, it didn't work. There's a good chance that I did something wrong. So yeah. I think I remembered why the setup was not is not successful. When you are installing, if I remember correctly, when you are installing a website, you need to include the ASPX pages as well. So in this case, I'm gonna try to display. I will double click this guy. Wonderful. And let me say add project output. Well, actually, I think content files, not source files. I think it's the content file need to be included, right? Uh, yeah, I think the content files. So I'm gonna say OK, and now I will build the first one. I will build the second. And by the way, I uninstalled the application and tried a few things, and now I think I remember. Yeah. So as you can see now, the website here, just to show you here, the primary output and the content files. So these two need to be included. And now I will run this as administrator. Come on, say next, and choose the test website, and press next, press next. Come on. Okay, so now it worked. Okay. So let us see if this is working. Yeah. So, refresh that. Now let's have a look at the website. There we go. This is our website. And let us try. Hopefully it will work fine this time. So click here and come on. And as you can see, now the website is working. So you not only include the what is it, the primary output from the website, you need to include the content file, and the content file means the default the ASPX files. Okay, so this is one thing to take care of when you do when you create this setup. The reason I forget about this is I didn't do many websites. Most of my work is web services, and web services only need the primary output. Anyway, so now I would like to share another thing. You see this web config file? Okay, now this file contains information that allows you to configure your website. Okay, so basically you could change things here. However, uh, this configuration fits only your debug environment. Now, when you deploy your application, you should go to the folder here. Where is it? See, basically in pub. Not exactly you will go there, but anyway. So you go to this folder where the application, and you'll find web config over here. And yeah, now it's open with Visual Studio. No problem. So you could modify things here. The thing you want to modify usually, it is the connection string. In our case, we haven't created any database, so there is no connection string entry. However, when you install your own, when you have your own database and you deploy the application, let's say to a HostGator, for example, you will have the option to modify this web config file related to your application. Okay, because if you don't do that, your application will not be able to connect to the correct database, and your application will not work. So you will have to do that. Okay, so now to recap. First, you need the things you need. First, you need to make sure that you have IIS installed on your machine. Okay, in case of basically you need Windows Server, you need to make sure that Internet Information Services role is being installed on your machine. Of course, you need the licensing and stuff like that. Next, you create the correct application pool with all the correct settings, like for example, is it a 32 or a 64-bit website? Is it a .NET 2.0 or a .NET 4.0 for an ASP.NET 4.0 and 2.0? And after you do that, you could create the setup. When you create the web setup, make sure to include the primary output and content files. After you do the setup, you will go and modify the configuration file and make sure that your application connect to the correct database. Okay, so yeah, this is how you deploy a website. Again, if you are deploying to a hosting service, you just right click on your website and select where's that? This is the publish option, and you could select, for example, all the project files, or for example, only files need to run this application, specify the link for upload, etc. Okay, so that's all. I hope this answer your question and show you how to deploy your website. And yeah, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Bye bye.